In this video, I'll explain what MPhil, PhD, and PhD is so that you know which level you can apply for and also understand research degrees. Today, I have my assistant here because I don't have a babysitter and he doesn't want to sit alone. So don't mind him. Let's focus on the content. Before I proceed, do join our community. This is for masters and PhD applicants so that we can get support with your applications, share resources, and grow together. The link is there in this video description. When you join, please accept the rules, update your profile with the real picture and your real names, introduce yourself, and then verify your profile so that you can get full access to the community. If you don't do those steps, you will not be able to access the community. Now let's go back to our programs, MPhil, PhD, and PhD. They do have similarities. First of all, they are all research programs. You will mostly spend your time conducting in-depth research, and at the end of your studies, you have to produce a written thesis, and you are going to have a viva. You are going to have to defend your thesis for all the programs, depending on which one you choose. Whether you choose MPhil, PhD, or PhD, you still have to defend your thesis at some point at the end of your program. You need a supervisor because this is a research program. Uh, you need someone who is going to guide you through your research and also help you to keep in track throughout your studies. That is why it's always important to identify a supervisor before you can start your application. Some programs do not allow you to submit your application without a supervisor. And also on point one, I forgot to mention that sometimes, although it's a research program, sometimes you have some modules, maybe introduction to research or methodology or publication, just a couple of modules that introduces you to research and research processes, but mostly it will be just you conducting research. Now, on to point three. When you are applying for admission for either of the three programs, you need to submit an abridged research proposal. You need to explain to your potential supervisors and also to the admission committee what you intend to research on. Your research proposal should have a title. It also should have like a research question. What is the problem? What problem are you trying to probe into? And then the relevance of your research, and of course, the proposed methodology, which is probably the most important aspect of your research proposal. So you need to please don't get fixated on your research proposal. You should understand that your research proposal is tentative. It's to show the committee, like I said, the admission committee, what you intend to research on. But one thing I can tell you is that your research will change as you get into the program, as you get admitted into the program, and you meet your supervisors and you plan your research. You'll find that you are probably going to refine your research proposal or probably take kind of a slightly different direction for your research proposal. So right now, just write something. Don't get too stuck in making it perfect. It shouldn't be perfect, but it should be practical and make sense to the person who will be reading it. Now, the differences between the program, MPhil is more like a master's degree by research. It's purely research, no coursework, and although some, like I mentioned earlier, in some programs you might have like one or two modules that introduce you to research, but most of the time there is no coursework. It's fully research based. And then MPhil, PhD, you start first with MPhil, and then after you pass your MPhil and after the committee is approved your progress, is satisfied with the work that you have done for your MPhil, then you proceed to PhD. It's like you make an upgrade to PhD. If not, then you stay stuck at MPhil level. So what you should understand about MPhil PhD is that you are going to do the same process twice. Like MPhil, you are going to write your thesis, do a viva and defend your thesis. Once you pass and you go to PhD, after your PhD, you are still going to write another thesis and also defend that thesis. So that is the difference between MPhil and MPhil PhD. And then PhD is a direct entry into PhD. There's no MPhil, there's nothing. You do your PhD, and then after you do your defense, your viva, and then you get your doctorate. One of the requirements of this three program is publication. Like most of the time, you are required to have one publication. It would depend on the institution, the university that you are applying to. Like for example, they might say for MPhil you need one publication, and MPhil PhD you might need two, or PhD you might need two. It would depend. You have to find out the requirements for publication, because sometimes you may not be able to graduate until you have published a paper. So that is the differences between MPhil PhD, and PhD. MPhil, normally you just need an undergraduate degree. You can apply for MPhil with that. MPhil PhD, you also need an undergraduate degree, but if you have a master's, it's an added advantage. PhD, you definitely need to have a master's degree that prepared you for research. I personally would advise you to go directly into PhD, especially if you have a master's degree. If you have an undergraduate degree and a master's degree, go directly into PhD, because if you take the MPhil PhD route, that's a long route. Remember, I said you are going to do the same process twice. That can be taxing. So if you can, just apply for PhD and do PhD directly. These are the duration of the programs. I am explaining the programs based on the guidelines of the Mauritius Africa Scholarship Scheme. If you are applying for a different scholarship, maybe the duration might be different, but normally it's aligned. It's around this period. For MPhil, it would be 2 years, and then they give you a maximum of 6 months for your thesis defense. So you have 2 years to do your MPhil studies, and then 6 months to have done your defense. And then MPhil PhD is 4 years with 6 months for defense. Then PhD is 3 years with 6 months for defense. If you are stuck or you need assistance with your research proposal, or you don't know what program to apply, whether you should go for MPhil or MPhil PhD or PhD, I'll be happy to help you with that, because it's important that you select the right program. It's also important that you write um, a well comprehensive research proposal that will get you a supervisor and get you an admission. I'll be happy to support you with that. You can book, I have one-on-one mentorship, and then we can work together on your application strategy and your research proposal. You can book through the link in the video description. If you've already written your research proposal and you want me to review it and provide feedback, then you can book a review. I'll be happy to go through it and give you feedback. Um, Thank you so much. In the next video, we'll look at the application form for the Mauritius Africa Scholarship Scheme.